Hey, it's Agnes from the Simple Beautiful Wellness. Today, I want to talk to you about something that doesn't get discussed enough when it comes to chronic pain, and that's the power of making decision. Not just any decision, the decision. Because here's what I've learned, both from my own healing journey and that from working with clients, is that indecision isn't just mentally exhausting, it's actually keeping us stuck in pain. And today I'm going to explain exactly why that is, what's happening in our brain when we can decide, and how making one clear decision was the turning point in my own healing journey. So if you've been going back and forth between different approaches, trying, this treatment and that one, researching late into the night, constantly second guessing yourself, you need to hear this. And I just want to say I've been in the same boat before. Indecision creates a specific state in our brain and nervous system. And that state is actually opposite of healing. So let me explain what's happening neurologically when you stuck in the indecision. When you can't make the decision, our brain stays in a state of uncertainty. And that uncertainty our brain interprets as a danger. So think about it from an evolutionary perspective. Our ancestors needed to make very quick decisions to survive. Flight or fight, safe or dangerous, stay or go. And when you couldn't decide, you were vulnerable. You were stuck. And that meant danger. So when we are constantly going back and forth, should I try this treatment? What about that one? Or maybe I need a surgery. Or maybe it's all in my head. Our brain is in perpetual state of threat detection. Your nervous system stays activated, your body stays tense, and your brain keeps that pain alarm turned up because it's thinking, we haven't figured this one out, we haven't figured the danger yet, we can't relax, stay alert. And here's the kicker. When you're in that state, you're not just mentally exhausted, you're psychologically stuck in a fight or flight, which means your body literally cannot heal. Dr. John Sarno talked about this extensively in his work. He noticed that his patients who kept searching for the right diagnosis, the right treatment, the structural reason for their pain, they stay stuck. Not because they weren't trying hard enough, but because the constant searching, the constant uncertainty was keeping their nervous system in a state of danger. Their preoccupation with their pain, analyzing it, researching, trying to figure it out was actually perpetuating the pain. And, I lived this for years. I would wake up in pain and immediately start that mental loop. Okay, is this structural? Should I see another doctor? Maybe I need more imaging. Maybe it's just TMS like that book said. But what if it's not? And I'm ignoring something serious. Maybe I should try a new treatment I read about. So I would go down that, research rabbit hole for hours at a time. I'd try one approach for a few weeks, then abandon it. And, when I didn't see immediate results, I'd commit to the mind-body approach and then panic when pain flared up and run back to physical treatment. It was really exhausting. Not just, I wasn't just exhausted from the pain, but from the constant mental gymnastics of trying to figure out what to do. And what I didn't realize at the time was all that thinking, all that analyzing, all that back and forth was keeping me stuck. Because my brain was getting mixed messages. One day I would tell myself, you safe, this is just neuroplastic pain, we can heal. And then the next, I'd be in panic and I would tell myself, maybe we are damaged. Maybe we need to protect ourselves. Maybe my system, couldn't relax because I was keeping that narrative change all the time. It was like trying to calm down a scared child by saying, you safe. Actually, wait, maybe you're not. Okay, you're safe. But let me check this one more thing. That child would never feel safe. And, neither did my nervous system. So I was stuck in what Dr. Sarno calls the thinking trap. My conscious mind was so preoccupied with figuring out my pain, analyzing it, searching for solutions, that I couldn't actually heal. Because, for healing, we actually don't use our thinking brain. It happens when our nervous system feels safe enough to let it go. So here's what finally shifted for me. I've made a decision, not a perfect decision, not a decision that like 100% I knew what will happen, just a decision. I decided I'm going to commit to the mind-body approach. I'm going to commit to the pain reprocessing therapy. And I'm going to give it a real time, not just a week or two, 2 weeks, but months. And I decided that anytime my brain wanted to second guess that decision, anytime it wanted to pull me back into researching, analyzing, searching for alternatives, I would redirect it. I would just say, no, we already made a decision. We're doing this. We're giving this approach our full commitment. And I want to be honest, it wasn't easy. My brain fought me constantly. Pain would flare up and my brain would scream, see, this isn't working. You need to find something else. Go research, call a doctor. And instead of spiraling into that panic, I would pause and say, I've already made my decision. I'm committed to this approach. This flare up doesn't mean I made a wrong choice. It's just my brain testing me. And slowly, very slowly, something shifted. When I stopped giving my brain the option to bail, when I stopped entertaining what ifs and all those maybes and shoulds, my nervous system started to settle because I was finally sending a consistent message. We're safe, we're on one path, we're not in danger. So Dr. Sarno called this thinking psychological, not obsessively analyzing your pain, but simply accepting that the pain is mind-body related and then getting on with your life. So the decision to commit wasn't about being 100% sure I was right. It wasn't about choosing a path and walking it fully instead of, constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering if I turn back. And that's when healing really began. And what I've noticed after I made that first decision was that my anxiety decreased dramatically. I wasn't spending hours researching anymore. I wasn't lying awake at night wondering if I was doing the right thing. I made my choice, and that kind of created a space in my mind and nervous system. And the second thing that I want to say about it is my pain became less consuming because I wasn't constantly analyzing, measuring, and catastrophizing about it. When pain showed up, I acknowledged it. Okay, there's pain. And then I moved on with my day. I stopped giving it so much power. I started seeing progress, not because the, approach suddenly worked better, but because I was finally giving it a real chance. I wasn't sabotaging it by constantly second guessing myself. So when you fully commit to something, when you stop hedging your bets, when your brain and body can actually engage with that approach, it's, you go full in. But when you are half in, half out, constantly questioning your nervous system, that nervous system stays in limbo. And once I've made that decision just on that, just to pursue that one path, I felt empowered. I wasn't victim of my pain anymore. I wasn't desperately searching for someone or something to save me. I was actively participating in my healing. I took that power back. So making a decision, even if it's imperfect one, is more powerful than staying stuck in that analysis paralysis, because that indecision keeps you in that state of hopelessness, and that then feeds into the pain experience. So What I want you to consider at the end of this video is if you've been going back and forth, researching endlessly, trying to figure out the right approach, and I want you to pause and ask yourself, what if the right decision is simply to decide? Choose an approach, give it your full commitment, set a time frame, and during that time, when your brain wants to second guess, but it will want to do that, when it wants to pull you back into, searching, analyzing, redirected, remind your brain you already made a decision. You are committed to this path. You're giving it time to work. This doesn't mean you're gonna ignore the red flags or serious symptoms. It doesn't mean you don't work with your healthcare team, but it means you stop that constant mental ping pong that's keeping your nervous system activated. So make a decision, trust it. Dr. Sarno said that one of the most important factors in healing was simply accepting the diagnosis, accepting that the pain was mind-body related, and then moving forward with confidence. Not a 90% confidence, not I think this may be right, but I'm not sure, but your full commitment. Because your brain is listening to your level of conviction. And when you are wishy-washy, it stays on a high alert. When you are decisive, it can finally relax. So make a decision, redirect your brain, stay on track. If you're ready to stop that, back and forth and actually commit to the healing path, I want to support you. Grab my free starter kit below. It's designed to help you understand, pain reprocessing and how to start your journey with clarity and confidence. So link is in the description below. And if you incline, I'd love for you to follow me on Instagram at The Simple Beautiful Wellness. That's where I share my daily encouragement, tools, real talk about, what actually takes to heal from chronic pain. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to make a decision, or perfect decision. You just need to make one and commit to it. Your healing is really waiting on that other side of the decision. Thank you so much for being here.